right now. You have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. Think about that. That's what technology really is. It's possibility, it's adaptability, it's capability. But in the end, it's only a tool. What's a hammer without a person who swings it? It's not about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. You're the voice, and it's the microphone. When you're the artist, it's the paintbrush. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have mixed reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. You have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. So here's the question: what will you do with it?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you our next keynote speaker. He will come from Microsoft. He's the cloud solution architect. Name is Ashok. Samal.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. Great. Nice to see you guys here. And I'm glad that you guys came back after the heavy lunch, probably. No? And today we're going to talk about Microsoft AI empowering transformation and innovation. And the funny thing is, today morning I woke up and my girlfriend asked me, what are you going to present today? I was like, okay, AI, transformation, and innovation. I was like, oh, these are the buzzwords, isn't it? Everybody talks about it. What's the difference between them? What is transformation, innovation? And I was like, a very difficult day to start with when you get this kind of feedback. How many of you agree that transformation, innovation, buzzword, and everybody talk about that today? Great. You are no better than my girlfriend. So I'll have a tough day today here. Right. So what I did today and what I want you to see is a picture. And this is how Helsinki probably looked in 1900, right? Of course, I was not there to take the picture, so I stole this picture from internet. This is how it looked around 1950. And what's the difference? You can see automobile, you can see people rushing everywhere, going for their job probably, and those sort of things. If you go a little ahead, 2015, it looks like this. And the first question I want to ask you, what is the difference you see in this picture? Transformation? So it's not a buzzword. You got it there in the pictures. So this is transformation. When we talk about 1950, probably transformation around happened, and we got automobiles. In 2015, we got nice structure to our streets, our buildings, and everything. And we are talking about this, but a bunch of the things we don't talk about, what is at the back of this? Probably innovation like electricity, combustion engine, communication channels. Those are the things we never talk about it, right? So for me, those are the things which is called innovation, and those innovation drive this transformation. Probably this is a longer journey to see transformation, something like this, but thanks to companies like Microsoft, Google, AWS, the cloud players, and bringing those transformations really quick to the journey, right? So we will talk today the transformation of AI and the innovation of AI, right? It's starting from automated cars to connected cars, safe buildings, connected cities, connected platforms, breakthrough in medicine industries, safe workplace, connected assets, connected people in the safe workplace. Then your automobiles, the drones, the breakthrough in agriculture, the banking systems, the personalized banking, personalized retail. There is a lot of things happening there, and everybody is driving transformation. But how does that transformation happen? Companies like Microsoft, we have labs with us where we do a lot of innovative stuff that the market demands. And those are we call tech innovatives. right? And in the innovation, then we take it to our respective things that we are really living with, our society, our businesses, our workplace. So when we seep those innovation to our stuff, to our place where we live around, then it drives transformation. Most of the time, many companies start with the ambition of innovation, but then they slowly merge into some departments, some other departments of the company, and innovation get killed. The powerful message that I want to give you guys today is innovation is very different than transformation. Innovation drives transformation. Transformation happens because you apply innovation. And we will see today what are the innovations that Microsoft is doing. And in the market, we see three major trends, how it happens, right? I will try not to go into too much technical today, try to stay in an up level so that everybody understands. The first type of transformation that the market demands today is a cloud AI service behind every device. So we are surrounded by thousands and millions of devices. Look at yourself. You got a watch, digital watch. You got cell phone. You got laptop. You got this pen. All these things are a device to you. When you go to a hospital, you are surrounded by a lot of devices to measure your blood pressure, measure your heartbeat, scan your bodies. There is a lot of devices there. And first trend that we see in the market transformation is, can we have a cloud AI services in every devices surrounded by us? Now the question is, yes, we are ambitious, but how are we going to do about it? How exactly we will achieve it? The first thing, let's go ahead with a couple of examples and find out how to do it. Think about a scenario. Let's say you are working in a gym. And most of the gym in US right now providing connected device experience, meaning when you go to a gym, you get a wristband. You have to wear it inside the gym. And that wristband always measures what is your blood pressure, what is your heart rate, and stuff around that. And that wristband is connected to the gym machine that you are working on. And that is also connected to the profile that you have, which potentially says what is your weight, what is your BMI, and stuff around that. So let's say I'm going to the gym, having this wristband, and I got into that treadmill and selected a program. And that program is really an intensive program, probably not good for me, right? Now you have two options, without intelligence, with intelligence. Without intelligence, you will let me in, and you will allow me to do that exercise, and it can be fatal. God knows what will happen if that is really, really intensive. Now you have another one with intelligence. And with intelligence, you can probably say, your wristband is connected to your profile. From profile, I can understand probably this is too risky. I will not allow you, but I will recommend you something similar, which is less intensive. And that is the intelligence that will drive you. Another thing that we will talk about is personalization. We are surrounded by every devices. And today, the devices gives us information, right? Device tells us what to do or what it is. It's the information. But when you tailor that information towards your need, your profile, that is called personalization. And without a personalization, probably a piece of information doesn't make much sense in today's era. Right? So the first thing, we move to the cloud, or we try to integrate a cloud AI behind every devices. It has to be personalized. Think about your business case. Find out what are the business case and your company drives today, and how can you fit personalization into it, and then seek for help from cloud AI. How should you use it to drive that? The second thing we just spoke about is intelligence. So in the gym, you had two options. Either go ahead with intelligence or don't go ahead with intelligence. Now you understand what's the difference of that, right? The third thing, who are the people going to use it? It's like people like you and me. So it should be affordable. And the fourth one is cloud power. Because if you are the company providing all these services to people like you and me, then you don't need, you need a lot of power to do that. So with cloud, probably today you don't bother too much about what kind of machine I hire, what kind of algorithm I run, what kind of DevOps plan I should have, maintenance plan I should have. Probably those workloads will be less on you, right? Without these four things, you cannot probably deploy a cloud AI into your devices. And let's understand how does it fit into our transformation and innovation way of seeing things, right? I'll give you one example. Look at this example. So I said cloud AI behind every device. And here, that device is a camera. And the camera is looking at this barrel and saying that policy violation is spill. And that is a personalization, because first, the camera understands this is a barrel. It is not something else. Then it understands barrel, if it falls down, it will spill. It will not be broken. That's the personalization I'm talking about. And this personalization has to be backed by intelligence. So if you give this piece of information as a part of personalization, probably it's not helping me driving my business any better. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send this information probably to a manager, and the manager probably assign it the job to the nearest guy who is nearest to that workplace and probably get this job done. And once this job done, the manager get notified that this is done. And that is intelligence. So you found personalization, then you called a complete work stream to do that job intelligently without messing around a couple of peoples and without spending a lot of time who should go and fix there, right? You found out who is the nearest guy, you send those alerts to those guys, they went there and fixed it. And that is intelligence. And in order to do that, you probably need a camera, a piece of camera which your company already got it probably, and you need a couple of cognitive services from Microsoft or other providers that you built into the camera, and that gets the job done. It's quite affordable, by the way, right? And the power of cloud. If you wish to do it by yourself, probably you have to hire a bunch of virtual machine and train the models and do it by yourself. It will take you probably 3 months to 4 months to do this with a lot of cost and a lot of people. And the power of cloud here, Microsoft Cloud, is you can scale up, down, anytime you like. The security has been maintained, the SLA has been maintained, and everything is taken care for you, right? So that's what the trend number one that we see in the market, right? So go back, find out the device you are surrounded with from your business, and try to put AI in it. And in order to put an AI, probably will not take much effort, and we will see why in the next slide. So I will probably say a little more on this. So we spoke about devices, we spoke about cloud. Fantastic, looks brilliant. And we spoke about probably devices are connected to the internet, and you send a request to the cloud, and you get an intelligence back. This is how it operates. How about you don't got an internet there? When we talk about cloud all the time, it may be possible that you don't have the liberty to use cloud always. Cases. Think about a ship deep in the sea. There is a lot of maritime company in Nordics, and think they have hundreds of ships going around the world. You don't have an internet there. Think about the case deep inside the jungles. You want to save the animals. You want to identify the new trees, new species. And deep inside the Amazon, probably, I have to check who provides internet there. Think about another case, disaster. Always hit Asia Pacific most of the time. Japan, Bali, Indonesia, India, God knows where. It hits all the time. And probably you will not get a network to do your business there, right? But still, Those are the places we have to go to implement this AI and drive this transformation there. Think about cases like IoTAs. Even if you don't have internet today, you can drive intelligence offline. So once your model is ready, you can load it to the IoTAs. Probably if it is a disaster case, fly the drone there to find out the survivals there. And it can identify people versus tree versus boats easily. So even if you are not connected to cloud all the time, you have power like IoTAs in our stack, which can define your objectives, or we can help you find your objectives without even connectivity, right? That's the powerful message with backing up cloud AI behind every devices. It doesn't need to be internet in that if you can't. Probably I will show you a small video.
As our world becomes increasingly digitized, so does our ability to connect with it. Imagine if you could search your surroundings the same way you search the web. Using existing cameras and advances in AI, we can now find things and people in the real world in real time and take action to improve safety and well-being. When a dangerous spill occurs in a chemical plant, cameras recognize the incident. Information about the spill is instantly shared with the people who need it the most, enabling them to protect other employees from coming in contact with the hazard and clean it up. This technology can also help keep people safer in hospitals. Patients recovering from heart surgery are limited to how much they should exert themselves. When someone exceeds the prescribed level of activity, a nurse is alerted. What's more, the location of the closest wheelchair is identified, so that the nurse can quickly get the patient seated and safe. This technology is also useful in an environment like a construction site, where people who need specialized tools are spread out, sometimes across multiple floors. Using cameras already in place, this technology can identify a specific tool, as well as the closest authorized person who can deliver it, saving everyone time and keeping the workflow moving. The digital and physical worlds are coming together to help make everyone more safe, secure, and productive. And we're bringing the edge of Microsoft's cloud to any device.
Great. You just saw how you can fit in AI to all the devices. And there is a great learning that I want to share at the end of Trained One. Empower everything in a physical world with a touch of a digital world. And that includes intelligence too. I can bet any device that you use today, I can fit in an AI to make it more smarter. So let's do that. When you go back to your work, find out what is that device and what is that AI that you want to infuse. Let's talk about Trained 2. Cloud API democratizing AI. I remember 1 year before, I was talking to a huge construction company in Sweden. And they said, you know what, we want to give a better facility to our supervisors. But don't ask me to teach AI to a supervisor. He will quit his job, right? His job is on the field. And how can I do that? Think about cases like this. And there is a prediction that by end of 2020, almost 80% of the workforce will use AI without even knowing there is an AI at the back. Then what you are trying to do? You are trying to drive a transformation which includes breaking up these two things apart. How you do it versus how you consume it. And you have to make sure these things is totally decoupled. How you do it doesn't impact how you consume it. And how you consume it doesn't care who has built it or how he has built it, right? Let's understand how you should think about those kind of transformation. So probably in your organization, you got a bunch of data. Probably by now, I guess most of the Finnish organization has at least a couple of data scientists or machine learning AI guys working somewhere in the basement or somewhere. So the job of these guys is that they train and taste the things and create the models at the end, right? And we always talk, when we talk about models, how great model it is to solve my problem. But that's not the end of the journey, because this model, you cannot give it to a supervisor and ask him to use it, because he can never. So how should we think about it? So there is a complete new process that we should put around the model so that we can decouple the consumption layer versus the development layer, right? So first thing, we put the entire thing into a Docker image. So when we put the entire thing as a Docker image, you got an ability to take it anywhere you like. You take it to IoT Edge, you take it to any devices, you take it to your grandma's computer at the home, that's up to you. Once the Docker image is ready, you define your compute, where you want to run this Docker image. And once you are done, then you create a web service on top of it. And once you got the web service, that's the complete of the development cycle. What you are trying to do here, you created the fantastic stuff, and you put it in a box, and you're told, this is where my box runs. And at the end, all you expose is an API and a key. This is what you expose. And this process is an iterative process, because your model cannot be 100% correct, so it will go on forever. It's a cycle of life cycle development life cycle. Then comes the consume part. Probably somebody like a supervisor with an app or Excel set in his cell phone or somewhere using it. So all you need to do is request a call back to this web services by using the API or URI and the API key. And it gets the answer back. Think about a situation, you got an Excel set, you fill in column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 will be auto-populated. You think about the app where you put the fourth is automatically populated. If you are that guy consuming the stuff at the end, you really don't care who is working what at the back, right? So all you need to do is create an API at the end and democratize AI. Once you do that, even in the cycle of development, you change something to the model, the consumption guy doesn't care what it is you have changed. He has the same endpoints to work with, right? This is how you should think about. So your problem, your company, your problem, probably specific to your business line. But in Microsoft, we also do the same. And we call it today cognitive services. So for us, we follow the same exact architecture at the back, and we create our cognitive services. And this is what it looks like. For normal usage, the vision, how do I look and understand this is person A, person B? How do I identify? When somebody looks at me, how do I feel like I'm happy or sad? By looking at me, can you guess my age, my nationality? Probably. Same thing with speech. Knowledge, language. Can I convert Chinese to English at the real time? Search. These are the things that our cognitive services is capable of doing stuff. And exactly this thing happens at the back. You got the data, you create the model, then you create the web service at the end. And developers just call that web service and put intelligence to their app. And Microsoft keeps on developing or exceeding their expectations on the models. So that's a never-ending process. But we don't care at the end. We just need that API and the key to work with, right? So if you go down a little bit below to understand what you can capable of, you can even understand handwriting. You can just go to our portal today and upload 5 pictures of jacket A and 5 pictures of jacket B, jacket type B, and you can start questioning, showing a camera pic, which new jacket type you have just uploaded, right? So those things you can do. So think about cases like drivers. They drive the car, they fall asleep. The moment you fall asleep, by calling our face API, it understands your aperture of the face. Is it down? Is it left, right? It understands everything. Can you transform that line of business, taxi business, and empower them with these kind of things? That's called transformation. Speech, the real-time speech translation. In this room, I'm pretty sure there is a diverse of people sitting here. Some of you probably understand English well, some of you not. Can I empower you by providing an API key at the end that I speak English here, but you listen Chinese, Mexican, Spanish, or whatever language of your choice, and you listen that real time? Actually, that is today available in Microsoft PowerPoint. I could have done that. So in the PowerPoint, if you check PowerPoint translation, it is backed by AI. Everything I speak here, you can choose to listen in your preferred language back there. That is empowering people by providing them to listen languages. And how we are doing it is just an API call and the key. You don't do the translation part at the back. This is how we democratize AI. If Microsoft does it in this way, so do you. If in your organization, you get into an AI project, make sure it follows the path. Then you really don't care, is it going to the sales department to be used, or it is going to the procurement to be used. All they need to care about how to call an API key and how to get their stuff done. Now, a couple of facts. In 2016, 96% object recognition human parity. If human can understand with 100%, our cognitive services understand at 96%. We are that close. The speech recognition, also with the human parity, is very high. 5.1% switchboard speech recognition test. That is a test that we did in MIT, I guess. January 2018, 88.5% of MRC, machine reading comprehension. It looks like a sci-fi movie probably, where the robots just call that PDF file and understand what is written inside and can answer you within seconds. Now with this MRC, machine reading comprehension, probably you can upload your document. It can be handwritten, it can be printed, or anything. You can send that to the MRC code and you can start asking questions. When did that happen? What is the summary of this book? And those things can be available to you by calling this. So I'm not saying no need to read book anymore, but this is available to you. Also, machine translation, the one that we spoke about. So these are the things at your disposal today. And the question is how you are using it. And then you can also fit IoT edges. Probably this time I'm going to talk about connected stuffs that is connected to the Wi-Fi or the internet. And you can put those face APIs here and can understand your customers or your objects or whatnot at the real time and find value out of that, right? So you can also take this Microsoft Cognitive Services, Docker, put it in a Docker container and fit it into the IoT edges or other devices. And you can also use it today without even pinging to the cloud, totally offline. Then there is something called Azure Sphere. We understand that there is a lot of API call happening, fantastic, but there is a lot of stuff probably cannot talk to cloud all the time, or even if they do, they have to do a little bit of processing underneath. Think about your washing machine at the home, your refrigerator at the home, right? Can I put a microcontroller chip there, which is secure, which pings to the cloud, and get the job done there? And those are the things that Azure Sphere does. So you have a lot of things out there at your disposal which can use AI today to fulfill your job. Let's understand how this Azure Sphere works. A quick video before I close that.
More and more devices are becoming connected devices across every industry. powered by microcontrollers, low-cost single-chip computers. This connectivity is going to change everything, but it also creates vulnerabilities. No manufacturer wants to expose their customers and products to risk. That's why we developed Azure Sphere, Microsoft's highly secured end-to-end solution for connected microcontroller-powered devices. 3 components working as one. A brand new class of crossover microcontrollers, running a secured operating system, supported by cloud services, silicon, software, and cloud, unlocking value for your business. The Azure Sphere project began years ago as we were researching how to secure the coming wave of connected devices. We identified 7 critical properties required to secure these everyday devices. These form the foundation of Azure Sphere, security built right into the silicon and constantly renewed by Azure Sphere's cloud services, identifying threats and brokering trust, so you can have the peace of mind that your products and customers are protected. Azure Sphere brings the most advanced development tools to microcontroller class devices. So, instead of getting stuck solving the small, you can focus on the big value you want to create. Azure Sphere is your opportunity to reimagine your business from the ground up with new customer value, real customer insights, and next-generation experiences that are just an update away. It's all part of our mission to empower you to achieve more.
Great. So these are the things for tomorrow, how you should consume AI. And if you have not done your homework well, if you have not created your models properly and created the APIs at the end, probably it'll be very difficult for you to integrate with the products of the future, right? With this, the train 2, I'd like to leave you with a learning, and that's a quote from Mark Weiser. Most profound technologies are those that disappear. They weave themselves into the fabric of everyday life until they are indistinguishable from it. Meaning, there will be a time people will forget even at the back there is an AI. Like you forgot that there is electricity, water supplies, and stuff that kept Helsinki up here 2015 with a nice picture, right? So those technologies will disappear. They will melt into the fabric of the advancement, of the transformation, and that is the success of the technology. That time we will call that technology as a success, right? So by creating these APIs, when people will start using without a lot of dependencies, that time will come when you even forget that there is an AI running at the back which is empowering you, right? And let's jump to the train number 3. Conversational AI. Behind every conversation, you should have a conversational AI. So we talk a lot. We talk with customer care, and in the Nordics, I have a feeling that we spend a lot of time in the waiting when we call to the customer cares. We talk to a lot of people, probably a lot of systems. My bad. You look fantastic, yeah, I know that. This is what non-intelligent stuff. All right, falling back to our track. So we talk a lot, that's the bottom line. Can we empower that? And how the communication of tomorrow is going to happen. I'll give you one example. I was trying to book my next holiday in Bali, and I was trying to go to a couple of websites to find out. And then I realized, yeah, I travel every year, once or twice for holidays, right? I must be having some points somewhere. I travel with the XYZ companies. Where is my profile? I forgot the password. Sorry, how to get that? So I spent almost 30 minutes with 3 companies' website finding out what they provide, what is good for me, what was my password, what was my frequent flyer number, and all this stuff. I spent 30 minutes doing nothing, no productive work, right? And today's way of communication is web. Today's way of communication is app. You go to cell phone, go to the app, and find out information. And if I ask you, yeah, I want to call the customer care, then you go to the website and find out, contact us, okay. Chat with us, call us, okay, call us. Oh, this is the number. Then you copy the number to your cell phone and call them. Did you just realize how much time you waste on that conversation? And do you call that an intelligence conversation? Probably now you can say that's fine, but not after 5 years maybe. Right, so the space of conversation is changing. And every time you do a conversation with your customer, conversation with your partner, conversation with the society or the companies, that has to be intelligent. And, sorry, some weird reason this is not coming. So today, if you talk only about you as a person, you talk with a lot of channels. It can be Skype, it can be Facebook, it can be directly on the chat of the website, and a lot of channels that you communicate with, right? So let's understand how this thing works. Today's conversation is very limited. You find text or things on the web or app, but can I improve that conversation by providing you more facility? Let's say you are working with a driver, and the driver cannot leave the steering wheel to find out information on the phone. Can you empower him to speak rather than type? Can you give me an ability to look and feel and touch? Probably I'm driven by visualization, like I like pictures rather than reading text. Can you appeal me better by providing me an ability to touch and question? Right? And you can come from, let's say I'm an owner of a company, or I'm a customer care guy of a company, and people can reach me from any channel. You can ping me from Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, and whatnot, right? So how should I drive this conversation that comes to my platform? So we have something called as bot framework. And that can be a chatbot, can be a virtual assistant. Right. Let's start with a chatbot. There is a bot at the middle, and the guy is typing from different platforms. So what are you going to do? You're going to write your code at once. Every platform that people are coming from will hit that piece of code that the bot is driving. And your job is to make that bot intelligent enough so he can drive his own conversation. So we have two things to do. First of all, we will create a bot and integrate it with a lot of channels so that we have a unique experience, so that every person that comes from different channels will land into one bot. Second, we will make the bot intelligent so that he can drive his own conversation. But how can a bot drive his own conversation? How can I transform that piece of bot so that he can do his own job? What exactly we do when we communicate? We throw a statement. And in the statement, we have an intent. Let's say a statement like this: book me a flight to Cairo. So what I'm talking about? I'm talking about booking a flight, and probably the location is Cairo. That's what I'm talking. So can you feed this piece of intelligence to the bot at the back and say, if somebody talk like this, meaning he wants to book a flight and the destination is Cairo. But if I change the statement a bit, I want to book a flight from Sweden to Cairo, Stockholm to Cairo. Then you should understand my starting point is Stockholm, my end point is Cairo. Right? This is what we call language understanding intelligence service. And guess what? In Microsoft Cognitive Services, this is just another API. All you need to do is provide some samples. This is how my customer asks me questions. And tell them what it is. In this case, I will tell this means book a flight, location is Cairo, and starting point is, let's say, Stockholm. It has intelligence to pick it from a couple of examples, learn it on the way, and the next time the customer chat in a natural language, then it understands what is the intent and what is the property associated to the intent. And this is just available as a piece of API to you. So you go to your bot and just do this. It will understand what is your intent. Second piece of intelligence, we talk. We are known because of our own way of communication, right? We call custom voice. This is also available to you as a piece of API. All you need to do is upload a couple of voice sample, and there you go. If you can feed these two things back to the bot will understand the context that you are talking about, and probably in your own voice. And that is how we end up creating virtual assistant. So in reality, you can go home and in 2 days, you can have your own virtual assistant by using our bot framework. So a virtual assistant, that has a lot of components in it, a knowledge source. Probably your customer has a lot of data sets in SQL Server or in Data Lake or in Oracle database or somewhere. That data also, you can link it to your virtual assistant. You can put intelligence like object recognition, face recognition, speech, and those things also to the virtual assistant. Then you can also integrate third-party tools. Let's say you want to send a message every time talk something, right? So you can just integrate your messaging tool to the bot framework, and that will do your job for you, right? And at the end, you give a rich experience to the customers on the left-hand side by Azure Bot Services. Doesn't really matter which channel they come from, doesn't really matter how the user put the inputs, speak, touch, type, or adaptive cards or stuff. And the great thing, you can fit into almost all the devices. These virtual assistants, you can take it with yourself as a Docker image and put it into your car. That will work fine. Or you can put it into the IoT hub and put it into your car. That will also work. Or you can just connect it to your website, and every time your website has a visitor and the visitors start chatting, the bot will respond. And the moment the bot will understand that I cannot respond, it will hand over to a human to drive the stuff. And the bot will learn on the fly to ease your job for tomorrow. This is how a bot framework works. And the importance is, this is how the conversation for tomorrow is stepping up, is transforming, right? If you are not thinking in this space, doing your conversational stuff, probably you should start thinking. And the learning from the third one and the last one is a smarter conversation with intelligence would lead to smarter engagements. So if you have not done something with the bot today, go back to your organization, find out what are the areas people talk to you most, or what are the areas people complain most, or you do a lot of repeatable job. Probably that's the best point to start with engaging a bot, right? And that's all from my side. Thank you very much. And you got my information here. If you want to connect, drive more technical conversation, feel free to connect with me and catch me outside. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok.